Children are fascinating creatures. I can't help but marvel at the way they act and think. Their minds are molded so easily, so effortlessly, like the softest of dough in the strongest of hands. I worry that I'll never understand this child, though, or how she thought. These things drifted through my head as I examined the dimly lit room. The doors and windows were taped off with crime scene ribbon, the sticky messes on the floor sampled by a forensics team. The sight before me was grisly. What had once been an 8-year-old lay on the ground. One wouldn't be able to tell who or even what she was by just looking. Her head was hardly attached, only by the spinal column. It lolled grotesquely to the side, the syrupy liquid coagulated after all these hours. One eye was missing from the skull, sitting a few feet away. There was a gap where her stomach had been, as if bitten through by a beast. Innards lay strewn about her, much like a party popper on New Year's. Ghastly slash marks adorned her tiny wrists, hands, and fingers, crusted with blood and shredded bodily tissue, most likely from who or what was after her. Clearly, something had wanted her dead. Her parents were in similar conditions. Mother, father, even a grandmother, all strewn about the living room. This place was a bloodbath. It made my stomach turn. It was clear that there had obviously been a struggle. Toys, dolls, puppets, and blocks were flung about the place, as well as magazines and broken glass. The living room looked like nightmare fuel. I gagged at the smell of blood and insides. These poor people had to be at least 3 days old. It was becoming too much. So dizzily I turned and walked away from the scene. Perhaps somewhere else in the house would be easier to stomach. I found myself in a room upstairs after my days had passed. From the look of it, I was in the child's room. No sign of a struggle here. All was peaceful. Everything was in place, except one thing. A notebook. A little school notebook lay open on the floor. I plucked it up from the ground, turning it over in my gloved hand, and I nearly dropped it out of shock. Crusty, bloody lettering covered it. Symbols, signs, sigils. A face was scrawled on the paper, on almost every page. A stitched-up, twisted face. The eyes were blacked out with tiny holes through them like buttons. It looked familiar, but I couldn't place it. A small piece of paper fluttered out of the pages and landed on the floor, so I knelt and picked it up. "Don't you fear, my child. I'll keep the ghouls away. I'll keep you safe at night. I'll be your friend by day. But when it comes to friends, I have very few. So please don't leave me, darling, or my heart will be torn in two." This didn't seem quite right. I turned the paper over and read the back. "Madame Zoe's Worry Dolls. Your friend till the end." How strange. I paged through the book again, starting at the beginning. It looked like any normal little girl's diary. Things were written about friends at school, conflicts with parents, though one thing did catch my eye. Grandma got me a doll for my birthday. It's nice, I guess, but it's also scary. Mom said I couldn't give it away. I don't want it, though. A few pages later, a similar entry. I keep Grandma's doll in the drawer. I don't like its eyes. It stares at me at night. It's creepy. There were several more statements like this. The doll watches me wherever I go now. Its head turns. None of my other toys have come alive before. It's weird, but neat. I named my doll Aggie. She's not so bad. She told me today that we're going to be friends. Aggie doesn't like my mom or dad or grandma. I don't know why. Maybe because they think I play with her too much? Then the entries started to become more disturbing as I read them. Aggie made me mad today. She called my mom bad things. She wouldn't stop talking, so I ripped off her eye. She didn't like that. I said sorry later. Aggie is my best friend. I love Aggie. I hate my parents. Help. After that last entry, there was nothing but the scribble and the symbols. And a chill began to come up my spine. I felt bile or vomit rising up in my throat. Something was terribly wrong here. I'd been in the room for hours and hadn't realized it, so hastily I made my way downstairs as quickly as I could. But the house was empty. The investigators were no longer there. All that was left were the puddles of blood and the mess waiting for the cleanup crew. The bodies had already been removed. I glanced around the room, my eyes skimming over everything that could mean something. She did this to herself, you know. I nearly shit myself at the sound of the hollow female voice. It sounded like it was right next to me. Old, ancient even. I spun around, eyes scanning for the source, and halted abruptly as they passed the doll that I'd seen earlier. One of its button eyes was gone. No. No. Impossible. Then the voice came again. She did it to herself. There was no movement anywhere, but the sound came from the direction of the dolls. I felt crazy for doing it, but I spoke. Aggie? Yes, the voice replied, almost pleased that I was speaking to her. That was it. I couldn't hold it anymore. I vomited. This was far too much for me to handle. Oh, dear, she said to me. Poor thing. Come, sit down. You're not feeling well. What the fuck? I choked, swearing to God that I was having a dream. But regardless, I bit. Did it to herself? What had she done to herself? Who was she talking about? Yes, the girl. She did it to herself. I saw the whole thing. Killed her family, one at a time. Granny was the first to go. She used her own little hands. The doll's head lolled over to the side as if someone had pushed it. Ripped them apart. Then herself. She tore out her own eye, you know. I saw it. And then she ripped out her own throat. It's an amazing thing, possession. Before she even knew it, she had torn open her insides like a gutted fish. That's what she gets, the little bitch. I couldn't believe what was happening. I was being spoken to by a fucking puppet. A doll. A toy. It was talking and moving. A fucking plaything just described to me a terrible murderer. It was horrifying, but also alluring. I had to be crazy. Had to. But I moved closer to listen and to ask. Why? I said, my eyebrows furrowing in confusion. And the doll simply shook her head. Shh. Don't ask. It'll be okay. A rush of hot air filled my head, and my mind suddenly went blank. My eyes were drooping and tired. I was losing control. My hands suddenly lifted and made their way to the front of my shirt, fingers gripping at my flesh. It hurt, but I didn't want to stop. Don't tell my secret, Aggie whispered to me. All I did was nod. My nails began digging into my skin. Blood began trickling, appearing through my shirt. Within seconds, my fingers were embedded into my flesh, the first 2 knuckles sinking in warmth. It hurt. It hurt. I was on fire. No, I started, unable to control my movements. No! My flesh was tearing, the muscles rending in two. She had me. She had me completely as I felt the pressure of my organs pressing against the muscle and the membranes. That was it. I couldn't stop. And that, wildlings, is why you do not talk to disembodied voices or living dolls. Some things you just didn't think you'd ever have to say. Stay scared, wildlings, and make the most of your nights.